The Trump-loving operators of an Arizona restaurant are facing charges for allegedly firing their American workers and replacing them with known undocumented workers. According to a criminal indictment filed in federal court, the operators of Arizona's Colt Grill are facing charges of money laundering and exploiting their workforce. Okay. Wow. Uh, Look, in fact, there are five counts, charges on this indictment. One would be practice of knowingly employing unauthorized aliens, conspiracy to bring in illegal aliens for profit, conspiracy to transport illegal aliens, conspiracy to harbor illegal aliens, and finally, conspiracy to encourage and induce an illegal alien to unlawfully enter the United States. Now, Homeland Security investigation said that 4 people have been arrested and over 20 immigration-related arrests were conducted. So, yeah, they would arrest the people that they brought over, that the restaurant owners had brought over from Mexico. Roberta and Brenda Clouston, the listed operators of 4 Colt Grill locations throughout the state of Arizona, are listed as defendants in the indictment, along with Luis Pedro Rogel James and Idris Romero Molina, 2 Colt employees who are also in this country without documentation. So they are not legally allowed to be here. So apparently there was a plan that they had hatched in 2022 to replace their workforce with Mexican nationals. Why? Because it's cheaper. Romero Molina and Rogel James would allegedly acquire undocumented workers from Mexico to work at various Colt locations, while Robert Clouston allegedly signed leases for properties to house this undocumented workforce while providing transportation for them to get to work. So not only they were running basically a company house. Oof. Now, wait a minute. What happened to these people wanting an American workforce in America, creating jobs for Americans? Well, turns out, no, the Cloustons were too cheap. They wanted more and more money for themselves. They didn't want to pay an American workforce. Robert allegedly instructed managers of a Colt location to fire their employees, their American employees, to create, quote, employment opportunities for undocumented Mexican nationals for the purpose of having less expensive labor costs. And there it is. Of course. And now federal investigators claim the undocumented workers were allegedly paid compensation well below the legal minimum wage and were not even given overtime wages. Of course not. You know who else doesn't like paying overtime? Yeah, Donald Trump. Now, the indictment states that the Cloustons allegedly avoided paying an accurate minimum wage, time and a half, and required taxes in an amount beneficial to them between at least approximately September 27th of 2022 and June of 2024. And there it is. These people were busted doing what I think a lot of companies do. They hire known undocumented labor so that they can exploit them, underpay them, and threaten them with deportation if they ever do try to speak up for themselves or organize. So, yeah. Now, the owners of this business, according to the indictment, recruited aliens that is, Mexican citizens to come across the border for a financial purpose, said former federal prosecutor Josh Colesrod. The businesses won't have to pay the appropriate taxes on those wages, so they're saving money in 2 different fronts, one with payroll and the second with taxes in the U.S. and state governments. So that there's a lot of financial incentives to try to cheat the government in this aspect. Understand that situations like this are exactly why the right wing votes against reforming our immigration system. They want that cheap labor. And remember, Trump himself hired undocumented workers from Mar-a-Lago. People like him actually love undocumented immigrants coming over and working for them. If that's the case, though, then why the mass deportation threats and ICE raids? Simple. That's to create an environment of fear. To get all these people to, stay in line. Stay in line. Now, how are they Trump voters, though? Well, look, they're white business owners, and the business is named Colt, likely after the gun. And I realize there's, of course, but likely after the gun. The county they live in, Yavapai, went overwhelmingly for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. I would be very shocked if they were Kamala voters, okay? Doesn't seem all that likely. Okay, but then why is the Trump Justice Department spearheading this investigation then? And this was part of a years-long investigation. It was launched during the Biden administration, who actually did try to crack down on this kind of stuff. Now, they were also aggressively going after undocumented people with criminal records, whereas the Trump administration is just going after any undocumented person. Doesn't matter. To them, to Stephen Miller, it's about the numbers. It's about trying to get rid of all the brown people. And overall, it's about spreading fear. The fear that, of course, allows that exploitation to happen in the first place. Look, they're nabbing people outside of courthouses. They're nabbing people outside of schools, churches, yes, and even workplaces. They want these people to be afraid so that these people are easier to control. And you can bet that Trump, because he's been working on something like this, a way for restaurants and golf courses and farms to be able to legally exploit undocumented labor. Okay, and they haven't gotten there yet, but I think that's what they're planning on doing. All right, so now, what about the money laundering, by the way, charges against this company, against these owners? Well, the indictment further alleges that the Cloustons established a fake cleaning company, a shell company, R&R AZ Cleaning LLC, to help funnel under-the-table cash payments to some of their employees, bypassing minimum wage laws and shielding the transactions from Colt Grill's official accounting. The indictment, I already read you those 5 counts, but so now here's the thing, okay? It's very rare for a business owner to be punished for these labor violations, for exploiting labor force. Normally, they just come in, they arrest and deport the immigrants, maybe put a fine up there, and that's about it. I'd be very shocked if these owners ended up spending a significant or any amount of time in prison if they're found guilty, okay? And again, it wouldn't be for the charges of exploiting labor specifically. No, I think it would be more likely that the owners might actually get in trouble for not paying taxes, okay? State, local, and federal taxes, and at the end of the day, get a slap on the wrist. What would happen to their undocumented workforce? Oh, those workers will probably get the book thrown at them. Might even end up in CCOT, knowing this administration. So I think there will likely be an unequal, application of justice here, where these business owners will probably get away, for the most part, with doing these violations, whereas those workers, of course, are going to get the absolute worst happening for them, all because they just wanted to come here and work and to make money. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.